Welcome on into Sports Memo. Today, we got that actionable info you know and love in 30 minutes or less. We're streaming live, and we're happy to be with you here. Thanks for joining us for our final edition of the week here on Sports Memo Today. And as I promised on Tuesday, it's the all Matt edition. Matt Joseph's going to be batting leadoff for us. And apropos mentioning batting leadoff, because he's got an MLB look ahead play. I can't believe it's already baseball time already. We're also going to talk a game going tonight on the hardwood, and then we're going to be chatting with Moneyline Matt. He's got an overview of this Thunder and Jazz game. Yes, the NBA finally back after the little all-star break, so full slate of action tonight. Also a prop play he's going to be dropping for you to end the show. So why don't we get right into it? Welcome in guest number one. Find him at sm.buzz/MLM, It's Matt Josephs. And Matt, always a pleasure having you on here. And I know you are ready and raring to go as baseball right around the corner. Those K-props, it's going to be time to be breaking those down pretty soon. How's it going, brother?
Doing well. Flipped over the K-prop spreadsheet to the next season. So we're just waiting and ready to put some pictures on there and start studying and taking a look for some trends.
And I'm not sure if you're trying to trigger me with the Super Bowl banner behind you, but it still hurts, Matt. The wound is still fresh. So let's talk some hardwood action before I start weeping here. And you have another team total, something you've done great for us here on Sports Memo Today, going live and giving out some of these team totals, a different way to attack rather than, just going game total, really ISO in on a team that you like. We got San Francisco and Portland tonight, and you've got a play you're liking in this one, Matt.
Yeah, and I gave out the over to my clients this morning, and it went up a couple points, so I had to take it down for the people so I don't give out stale lines, because I don't like giving out stale lines. Those people are bad people who give out stale lines. So why not take advantage of one half of it and take a look at San Francisco? You look at this Portland team right now, and they just don't play any defense. They're 300th in two-point percentage defense, 347th in three-point percentage defense. And you just look at some of the road totals. They get 94 Pepperdine, 115 at Gonzaga, 85 at St. Mary's, a bunch of points. These two played in Portland. It was a 92-87 game. It was a 76 possession game. It's still part of the over. I like this part, but why not take the better offense at home against the really bad defense and look at the San Francisco Dons over their point total here?
Sounds good to me. Over the 81.5 points, only minus 105. You have to lay on that. And look at that, the Matt Josephs difference. No stale lines. It's a no stale line zone. That's what Matt Josephs guarantees you and the clients. Check him out, sm.buzz/MJ. And Matt, I'm just super excited that we actually have some baseball to talk here. I can't believe the year is flying back that we already have some of these look ahead plays. Something that you always like getting into and releasing to your clients too is getting ahead of some of these not quite win total bets, but some of these more niche prop plays that you can even look at heading into Major League Baseball season. So a team that you know well with the area that you're in is those Washington Nationals, and you have a way to break down. Maybe they're not going quite streaking throughout the season. What are we thinking, Matt?
Yeah, and really this is where it comes in to have multiple books, multiple options, because all the books offer different things, and kind of taking advantage of some early prices here. And you look at the Washington Nationals last year, they won 55 games, and basically they added to their rotation Trevor Williams. That's about it. They've got some youngsters. You look at Cade Cavalli, who they're very excited about. Mackenzie Gore, who's not bad out of the lefty. But I was going through DraftKings, and I was taking a look. They have a section where it says the longest win streak of the season. And I saw the Washington Nationals one, and it was the lowest one of them all. But it was plus money on the under. It was 4.5. And then I took a look at last year, and I saw the Nats never won 5 games in a row. I don't even think they won 4 games in a row last year. And with a pitching rotation that's going to include the human loss, Patrick Corbin, Trevor Williams, who's not very good, some of these other guys, they're going to have some starters. Some of these young guys are not going to pitch all season. So towards the back end, you're going to really scrape for starting pitchers here. So since it was a plus price, I decided to take a look at under 4.5 wins for the Washington Nationals' longest win streak of this coming season. It's plus 140. It's a great price to take advantage of it. So right now we're just looking for plus prices and values like that. So we're looking at under 4.5 wins, the longest win streak for the Nationals this coming season.
So they're not going to be going streaking according to Matt Josephs there, the Nationals under. And I completely agree with you, especially when you're looking at these future prices. If you're going to tie up some of your bankroll, it better be some plus money and a good price, a play that makes sense. Matt just gave you a free one there. Are these also ones that you break down for your clients? They head on over sm.buzz/MJ. Do you do a fair amount of future stuff as we head towards baseball season? And what else can they find over at your page, Matt?
Yeah, certainly. We'll take a look at some win totals and things like that. Obviously, spring training hasn't gotten underway yet, so you kind of want to wait a little bit, make sure there's no big injuries or anything like that. But this is kind of the time when you look at the player props. Who's hitting the ball well in spring? Who's kind of that under the radar guy? I always try and find one or two home run guys who should do better than their expectations, and that's also where you go to multiple books and take a look at the different numbers and things like that. And of course, college basketball. We're heading towards conference tournament season. You may even see some sleeper conference tournament champions for some of those mid-majors. We'll do some previews for all of that stuff coming up. So we're getting down the stretch here. March is coming. You can find it at sportsmemo.com.
Yeah, and as Matt Josephs mentioned, some of those conference tournaments, keep your eyes peeled because this Monday, a little birdie told me we have one heck of a special coming for you college basketball hoops nuts that will get you all the way through March Madness. Keep your eyes peeled. It coming next week. Matt Josephs, one of the best in college basketball, so you're going to want to take advantage of that one. Huge thanks to Matt Josephs. And as I said, it's an all Matt edition here. We got Moneyline Matt. So we go from mid-major Matt to Moneyline Matt. The alliteration just never ceases to amaze me with you guys. sm.buzz/MLM. And Matt, always a pleasure to see you, brother. And I know you're probably happy that the NBA respite is over because prior to that,
Yes.
it was like an 8-2 run on the last NBA pick. So I'm hoping, you were seeing it well beforehand. Let's carry that into the second half, right?
Yeah, man, definitely seeing it well right now. 6-0 run, UFC, NBA, 8-2 in the NBA, and the only two that I lost were actually when Jaylen Brown broke his face, and Fernay Simons actually twisted his ankle in the third quarter when he had 17 points, needed to go over 20 and a half. So definitely seeing it well right now. With the NBA, sometimes that stuff just happens. But now that we're past the All-Star break, this is that time. It's grind time for a lot of these NBA teams. This is when you make the push. The minutes get a little more consistent. The usage gets more consistent, things of that nature. So really excited to get back into the NBA and talk with everyone here.
Well, Matt, all you have to do is just complain on Twitter. When your players get injured and you lose a prop because of it, then you just cry about it on Twitter and you say, hey, we want the refund. We want the refund. You get enough people whining about it, then the books will get it done. So no injury protection, unfortunately, for you. Well, hey, since NBA's back, let's just start with a brief overview that you have on this Thunder and Jazz game because there was some interesting line movement in this one as Utah opens up as a 3-point favorite. And now it's down to a pick 'em in some spots. Sure, there's still some -1s floating out there, but money coming in on OKC. So any thoughts on why that is? You agree with it? You disagree with it? Or in true Moneyline Matt fashion, are you just going to try and attack it prop-wise?
Yeah, so for this game, I actually definitely do lean with the Oklahoma City Thunder here, and I believe the main reason a lot of the people are with the Thunder in this spot is because I personally believe this Thunder team is a bet-on team going forward. They were a bet-on team before the All-Star break, and the Jazz were kind of one of those teams that you were betting against, especially with the Thunder. When they are on the road, they're 17-10-1 against the spread. And now that they're back from the All-Star break, they're actually getting a very key player back in Lou Dort. As for the Jazz, this is also a team that does play better at home. They're 16-13-1 against the spread at home this season. But one of their key guys in Colin Sexton, who is running the point guard, will be out in this matchup. You have to remember that Mike Conley was traded at the trade deadline, so they don't really exactly have a true point guard at this point in time. Colin Sexton's not really even a true point guard either. So without him, that means Jordan Clarkson is going to get a lot of the usage, a lot of the shots. He's going to try and do a lot of the facilitating. He's not much of a facilitator. And me personally, his line is currently at 22.5, and he's going to draw that matchup from Lou Dort. And again, Dort is a huge addition for this Thunder team. He's one of the best guard defenders throughout the entire NBA. So if you've watched Jordan Clarkson, you know how streaky he is. You know how inconsistent he can be. And when he's that main option, that's generally not when he succeeds, actually. So again, his numbers at 42.5. And if I were to go anywhere with that, I would actually look under. And if there was a player I would look to, it would actually be Lauri Markkanen. You know, Lauri Markkanen was playing very good before the All-Star break. He's definitely a mismatch when facing this Thunder team because the Thunder have a 6'9" center in Jalen Williams, and then their power forward is another Jalen Williams, who I believe he's around 6'6", 6'7". So again, definitely a smaller lineup, but this Thunder team is just scrappy as hell. They find a way to stay in games. They run a very fast pace on top of that. And now, once again, now that Dort is back, he's that key piece where he can take away the other team's number one option. So for me, I would be with the Thunder as well with the -1 in this spot. But when looking at a couple of those point props, you know, I would potentially be with a Clarkson under, maybe a Markkanen over. I think those are some places to look. And one other guy I would look at is Josh Giddey. Josh Giddey, points, rebounds, assists. Josh Giddey, rebounds and assists. This is a really good spot for him. It's going to be a very fast-paced matchup. We know Giddey loves to do the facilitating. Giddey is also the primary rebounder for the Thunder at this point in time on top of that. So I think Josh Giddey is definitely a good look there as well. But if I were to go anywhere in this matchup, I would be with the Thunder too.
Looking towards the Thunder, so the line move and not scaring him off even a little bit. I like to hear it, Matt. And hey, let's get the folks a prop play as you're looking at this marquee matchup. I know you know the Pistons well, so we'll allow you coming on. We got this full slate of NBA action, and you want to break down the Pistons and the Magic, but money's always going to be spent the same if you can find some value in this one. So you got a player prop between these two NBA stalwarts. What are you going in this one?
Yeah, and I think if you guys have been following me for some time, you know I don't always go with the big stars in terms of the player props and things like that. So for me, this name might surprise some people a little bit, but it's Franz Wagner over 17.5 points against the Detroit Pistons. And in this spot, Franz Wagner and the Orlando Magic face off against the Pistons at home. This is a -7 spread for the Orlando Magic and a 228 total. And for me personally, I think this is the perfect spot for Franz Wagner. For one, because they're facing a Detroit Pistons team who is 29th throughout the NBA in points given up per game and 29th in field goal percentage given up per game on top of that. With that being said, if there is a strength with this Detroit Pistons defense, it's with Jalen Duren in that middle, rocking that 5 position, and then it's with Big Stu rocking the 4. You know, those guys are big bodies. They rebound the basketball well. Duren is actually a very good shot blocker for a rookie. So again, just big bodies. You're not exactly looking to attack the basket as much with those two down in the middle. So I don't expect huge games out of Wendell Carter Jr. or Paolo Banchero. But with Franz Wagner, he's actually going to be matched up with Bogdanovic, who Bogdanovic is actually currently ranked the 2nd worst defender throughout the entire NBA. So I think that's a very good matchup for Wagner. And then in addition to that, you know, the 1 through 3 is going to be Killian Hayes at the point guard, Jaden Ivey at the 2, and then again Bogdanovic at the 3. And Jaden Ivey is actually top 10 worst in defense throughout the NBA as well. So the Pistons have 2 players in the starting lineup who are bottom 10 in defense throughout the NBA. So switching does not matter whatsoever. Franz Wagner is also that guy who can kind of sit down, hit those corner threes, things of that nature. I already said the Detroit Pistons give up the 29th worst field goal percentage throughout the entire NBA. So again, just a very good spot. And then the stats actually back that on top of it. The Pistons are 8th worst throughout the entire NBA when facing a small forward. And with Franz Wagner on top of that, his home and away splits are actually around 2 points difference from home and away. When he's away, he averages 18 points per game, still above this current line at 17.5. And when he's at home, he averages 19.9 points per game. So plays far better in front of the home crowd. Again, I think this is a spot where it's going to be tougher for guys like Paolo Banchero and Wendell Carter Jr. So because of that, I think Franz Wagner gets additional looks here. The play tonight is Franz Wagner over 17.5 points against the Detroit Pistons.
Over the 17.5, says my man Moneyline Matt. Again, sm.buzz/MLM. Glad that the NBA is back. Happy to have you back on here talking some hoops. And it's not just been in the NBA prior to that little respite. UFC, where we talked to you on Wager Talk Extra, has been pretty good too. 6-0 run on the hardwood and in UFC action. So, Matt, you got anything locked and loaded for this weekend that people find over at your page?
Oh yeah, we already got one play loaded for UFC Fight Night coming up. Got another look. It's an underdog play as well. We hit a nice underdog play last week, looking to keep that rolling. I have a round prop on top of that I'm going to be rolling with this weekend. And we are back with the NBA tonight. We will be locked and loaded with at least 2 or 3 plays. So head over there, check that out on a great run. 8-2 in the NBA, 6-0 with the UFC and NBA last 6. So definitely seeing things very well right now and just looking to keep it rolling.
Moneyline Matt, grab those plays right this moment over there. And also head on over to the Wager Talk YouTube channel because Wager Talk Extra dropping later this afternoon. And Matt's going to break down 2 fights in the UFC, so don't miss out on that. Make sure you're liking and make sure you're subscribing so you never miss any of our great shows at Sports Memo TV or Wager Talk TV. And if you enjoy the show, that's all we ask you to do outside of check these guys out at sportsmemo.com. Take advantage of that deals page. As always, that's going to do it for us. Big thanks to the Double Matt special. Matt Josephs and Moneyline Matt shutting us down. Also, big thanks to my producer, Eric, doing a terrific job, as always, behind the scenes. I'm your host, Dan Alexander, and we'll be right back here on Tuesday getting you actionable information in 30 minutes or less right here